welcome to the Pink Hair Girl podcast. Great to be with you again. If you're watching for the first time, a huge hello and welcome, and I hope you enjoy your time with me today. It is Saturday, the 6th of September, and it is finally spring here in South Africa. Although somebody said that technically spring day is only the 22nd of September. I suppose it's like the solstice, like winter solstice and summer solstice, the 22nd, 21st, 22nd of the month. I'm not sure actually. In South Africa, we always celebrate spring day as being the 1st of September. And the weather has played along. It's been mostly warm. The beginning of the week was very hot actually, 28 degrees Celsius. But yesterday, being the Cape, and Cape has very changeable weather, it was only about 16 degrees. Today it's a bit mixed. It was a bit rainy this morning, but it's much warmer now. So it's great to be welcoming summer back to the Southern Hemisphere. And yeah, what have we been up to? Just the usual really, not terribly much interesting going on. The one thing is last weekend on Saturday, the geek and I went to a wedding. And weddings are always nice, really good friends of ours. And I bought some new shoes, which is not normally such a huge occasion, but I am very tall. I am 1.79 meters tall, which is 5'11", just shy of 6 foot, which for a girl is rather tall, yeah. But to compound matters, for me feeling, I've always felt tall, my whole life I felt tall, sort of out of place tall really. And I always had really short friends. I don't know why. And it just sort of seems to show off the height difference anyway. And the geek is shorter than me. No, it doesn't bother him at all. And it doesn't bother me that he's short. It bothers me that I'm tall. But I decided on the morning of the wedding, when I was busy getting dressed and all the rest, that I needed high heel shoes because, well, not high heel shoes. I just wanted shoes with a bit of a heel. You know, I always wear flat shoes. I'm always sensible. I'm running after 3 kids most of the time. So, you know, we keep it fairly practical here. Anyway, so I wanted high heel shoes. So bless him, the geek wandered around about 8 shoe shops with me, trying on various shoes with 2 boys, getting rather bored in tow. But we did eventually manage to find some shoes, and I really, really like them actually. They're called Ginger Marys, and I'll put some pictures in. And they, it's sort of a medium length heel with a strap over the top. That's what I wanted. They're sort of Mary Jane style shoes. They are, why I kind of wanted that particular style shoe is that I've got a tiny bit of an obsession with some shoes called Fibres shoes, and I'm not sure if you've seen them. I will show you some of their gorgeousness. They are a Canadian brand and they're beautiful. They're a bit unusual, they're a bit lovely, and they're a bit expensive. Well, if I'm coming from South Africa, they're a bit expensive because not only do you have to buy the shoes, but you have to pay the postage, which I think almost works out about as much as the shoes. And then if there's any customs duty coming into the country, that kind of compounds it. So I suppose if I knew somebody coming from America that was coming to South Africa and I could kind of bring them in rather than have to worry about postage and all the rest, I might consider them. They're still a bit expensive for me, but they're lovely, and I really have a little bit of an obsession about them. I think I've even done a blog post before, and I periodically go and check out their website and torment myself with these gorgeous shoes I can't have. Anyway, yeah, so I'll put some pictures. So they're similar style. They're not quite as fancy as Fibres shoes, but they're kind of what got me in mind of wanting a shoe with a sort of a mid heel and a kind of a chunkier heel and then the sort of strap over the side. Anyway, so I got those and we went to the wedding. It was lovely. The weather played along and it was all very nice. And while we were standing waiting before the wedding, I was just saying to Eva how much I want to wear a fascinator. I've never worn a fascinator to a wedding. I know it's a very English thing. I don't know if people wear fascinators to weddings in America or in Europe even, I don't know. I know it's a very British thing to wear fascinators to weddings. And just as I was saying this, somebody arrived and sort of came out of the car park wearing a fascinator. I'm like, I want a fascinator like that, it's so cool. And I think she's American and her husband is from Scotland. So anyway, she had the typical sort of British fascinator on. So now I'm convinced next wedding I go to, if it's appropriate, I mean, depending on the theme of the wedding, I am going to wear a fascinator just because it seems like such fun. I've worn a kind of a clip once with some peacock feathers, you kind of slide into your hair. I've worn that to a high tea once in Cape Town before, when we had a knitter's high tea. But I've never worn a fascinator. So I am really keen to try that out. I think it could be quite fun. Have you ever worn a fascinator? If you have, please go put some pictures in the thread. It'll be such fun to see. What else? Oh, following up from last week's knitting in the laundry, it was just such a cute venue. It was just so nice that I thought it would be quite nice to have a regular sort of knitting meetup there. So they seemed very, very keen on the idea, and they want us to yarn bomb the tree outside. So I started sort of on Facebook and Twitter and stuff, talking to a few people and saying, well, let's do like a knit club. So we've organized a knitting club at the I Love My Laundry, where Julie and I did the recording last time, and we're going to have it on the third Saturday of every month. So if you're in Cape Town and you're free on the third Saturday, come along in the afternoon. It's not going to be a fixed time as such. I mean, I'll try and be there kind of from 1ish in the afternoon. Pop in, pop out, come and knit and have some dim sum and join us. So they kind of started a little hashtag, I Love My Laundry, started a hashtag on Twitter called the Laundry Knit Club. So I thought that was really cute. So we're going to have the first Laundry Knit Club the third Saturday of September. So that should be quite fun. I'm actually really looking forward to that. So that's mostly what I've been up to. The rest is just, you know, kids, homeschooling, chaos, you know, here, there and everywhere. But I think it's time to move on to some knitting. Hello, today is the 1st of September, officially Spring Day in South Africa, and I'm just doing a quick insert because I need to show you my sew together bag that I made, but I need to post it for my swap partner before the next episode. So quick, I'm going to show you what I made, because the kids are playing outside and I'm not sure how much time they're going to give us to play quietly. Yeah, right, so this is the fabric that I used, the little people having a tea party, and then the edge was, the binding was this sort of white and red little birds. So the sew together bag is this bag that's got all these different zips. So you unzip this part here, this long part, and then it opens up to the interior, having another 3 zipped compartments here like this. It was originally a sewing bag, you know, for people to, when they go out to go sew. I don't know, how do you go out to go and sew? Sew at a friend's house? I don't know. She said for keeping your sewing supplies when you're going out. That seems a bit confusing now because I don't know how you go out with your sewing supplies. But anyway, it seemed like the perfect kind of notions bag for knitting, or for, I mean, not necessarily for always taking out, but for keeping, like, I want to make myself want to keep my higher needles in, because as you know, my one tip got lost because the side doesn't close completely, just sort of flaps over, but the sides are actually open, and I think my number 5 fell out because the side was open. So I actually want to make myself one of these, and Titus once wanted to put his cars in because he discovered the bag on my sewing table just after I'd finished, unzipped all the zips and put his little cars in, which is so cute. And so I said I'd make him one. And so in this little pouch I've put just a pair of small scissors, and then obviously she can put in all sorts of things and her own stitch markers and notions and whatever other things. And I just got a very simple tape measure for the one, and then there are some Sally Hansen nougat in that for a little bit of a spoil, and then there's a little needle, felt needle landing pad there. So I've just put some darning needles of different sizes in their tapestry needles, because I never ever have enough. I'm always losing them, always. So I thought that was quite a nice way. And then it all sort of concertinas together. You know, it's got the side bits and the linings and the pockets and all this. The pattern says a beginner pattern. I mean, and look, when I looked at when I looked at the construction and everything, looked at the finished objects, I mean, I could see it wasn't totally beginner. But I mean, I have sewn a fair amount in my life. My mother taught me to sew, and I mean, I've made clothing, I've put in zips, I've done buttonholes, I've done jackets with linings and all sorts of things. Oh my gosh, this thing really, really challenged me. It was quite hard, actually. I would, no way say that it was a beginner pattern. Not that the sewing is necessarily difficult. I mean, it's all straight sewing and straight edges up, but some of it's fairly fiddly. And the other thing is that the instructions are just, there's one sort of section's got some colors and one sort of diagram, but some of the stuff is just a written instruction. And I found some of it quite confusing. I had to read it and sort of reread it and think about, you know, like try and decipher what it was. Yeah, I mean, without pictures, I think it is quite challenging. I mean, look, I managed to make it an end. I think it looks completed quite a lot better than I thought it would at one point. But I mean, I'm not aligned. I mean, you can see this end finishes way, you know, this one starts down here and this one kind of starts. But I think this side is actually aligned. So somewhere it kind of, and my insides here, it isn't very pretty. So it's seriously by no way perfect. I mean, I think it looks all right. I think it looks okay to send. When I put it up on Instagram, I was reminded of, I called it my Top Gear bag, because they often say ambitious but rubbish. So I think it was probably a tiny bit over ambitious for my sewing skills. I mean, the other project bag I made for my last swap was so easy, and you know, that's probably where my sewing skills are really. But yeah, it was a bit of a case of ambitious but rubbish this time. Although I mean, it's not really rubbish, but it's not perfect. And when you see the ones on Instagram and stuff and Pinterest, and they all look absolutely perfect and all beautiful and stuff. And I used quite plain fabric inside to sort of match the sort of tea party theme. I didn't want to really detract from that. You know, I used just a plain green, and then the actual inside pockets I lined with a sort of a creamy white color, because I think often when you're looking into a pocket, to have a busy pocket or to have a darker colored pocket inside, it's harder to find what, you know, if you've got a few things in there, harder to find. So I made just clear, you know, cream pockets. But I mean, there are some gorgeous ones on Instagram or Pinterest if you're going to have a look, you know, where they've actually done almost quilting on and you know, embellished the whole outside of it, and then each part of the lining is a separate pattern fabric, and inside is a separate. There was one where I think it had little watermelons on the outside, and then it had it was plain green on the outside, and then it was pink watermelon seed, you know, the pink with the watermelon seeds, and then in the little zips were little watermelons inside. So the whole, you know, as you opened it, and there was one with witches where she'd done an outer sort of a thing with a Halloweeny kind of theme, and then as you opened the zips, there were different sort of cats and witches and things like that, which is quite clever. So people have been terribly clever with all the different color combinations, and mine is quite boring in comparison. But I did this little tea party. My swap partner quite likes tea and sort of tea themes. I'm going to pop a couple of tea bags in as well. And so this was just this little, my children were debating if it was a Little Red Riding Hood, but then they said it doesn't really have a cape, and then she didn't have a tea party. Maybe it was Alice in Wonderland, but Alice in Wonderland didn't had a blue dress, so then they were thinking maybe it's just somebody else having a tea party. Anyway, so that was the sew together bag, and I thought I'd do this little insert quickly just so that I can add it in. I'll record the main episode over the weekend. So happy spring day, happy spring to everybody in South Africa. We've got a gloriously warm day in Cape Town today, and apparently the week's supposed to be lovely. But the rest are in the north are all going into autumn. Although autumn is beautiful overseas, I must admit, we don't have the visual impact or quite the spectacular autumn that you guys get overseas. I sent Titus off today because it's spring day. They were doing some flowers at school, so he had a little hat with flowers on, and he had a little posy of flowers. They were going to give flowers to each other at school, so I'll put a little picture of him in on the spring day. So I will record the rest of this episode on the weekend. Bye. I know I've shown you the bag that I made for my swap partner in the South African swap, but I was surprised with a home delivery of my parcel from Melanie yesterday, and her gorgeous little goddaughter, little blonde, came and delivered it. She's not even quite 3 yet. And I don't think she was totally sure whether she was supposed to be giving the parcel over or giving it to me, or if she was supposed to be opening it herself. Anyway, so she seemed very keen to open the lid and look at the stuff. So we sat down on the step outside and I let her help me open the parcel. It was all beautifully done with tissue paper and ribbons or whatever. So this was the box I got with my happy spring card, which is all yarn inspired. And then she made me some really wonderful notions pouches, and I need notions pouches. I don't have any in any of my project bags. And then she filled them with really useful things, the tape measure, scissors, little scissors, which I never have enough of. It's a cat on them. Darning needles, always running out of those. So this has actually been in my project bag already. I had to go fish it out this morning. And so I got two. I got one smaller one and one slightly bigger one. And she said the flowers are sort of orange and pink for me. And then inside the other one was this beautiful necklace, which she made herself. I mean, it's stunning. And she made it extra long because I'm tall, which I thought was great. Let me show you. I don't know if you can see how pretty that is. So, and also again in orange and pink, and I think it just goes so beautifully together. And oops, opera glass. I'm totally in love with it. I absolutely love this necklace. I've already put it on Instagram. And then the other thing she included, which was so thoughtful, is something that, as you can see, aren't very many left. This was actually a full packet. It's by Good Grays, who actually, it's her sister's company. And this is gluten and wheat and dairy free. And they were seed crackers. So sunflower, pumpkin, linseed, sesame seeds. Organic where possible, and it's, I'm going to have to look them up because the kids have really enjoyed these. They're actually really nice seed crackers, and they fit in with what we eat, which is great. And then I got little stickers which say, "From my hands to your heart, love Mom." And these are gemaak met liefde deur, so it's made with love from. And then there's some little houses on tape. And then this one is, "The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or touched, but must be felt in the heart." So that's what I got in my swap this time. So this time it was a mini swap, and it wasn't a yarn swap. It was supposed to be showing off your other crafts, other things that you make or do or whatever. So I think that Melanie made, I mean, these pouches are beautifully made. The corners, her zips are amazing. I mean, it puts my zip making to shame. The edges are all beautifully done and folded over and stuff. I don't even know how you do that. Maybe I really am much more of a beginner sewer than I thought. It's very straight lines and all caught in beautifully. So and the necklace is absolutely phenomenal. Each one has a little wire put through it and then twisted in a little. Must have taken ages to do each and every single one. And the stones look like they have been drilled. I don't know if she drilled all the stones herself or if they came like that. They look like they've been drilled with a bevel bit or something. That's what Emmett keeps telling me, because I want to do some jewelry with shells, and he keeps telling me that he needs a very specific drill bit, or small fine drill bit that you use if you're doing things like jewelry and stuff like that. I'm so impressed. It's beautiful. So thank you so much, Mel. I absolutely loved the parcel. It was so cute to get it hand delivered by her little goddaughter yesterday. So that was what I gave in my swap. And what I got in my swap. So I thought I'd share that with you. My works in progress, I think I feel like I'm just showing you the same things over and over. I don't know if it's because I'm knitting a cardigan, so it's taking like so much longer and a lot of my time. I've also been doing a bit more work on things for the book, and that's also been taking up a bit of time. But I'm still busy on my lash cardigan. I only have until the 14th, I think, 14th, 15th. I thought it was the end of August, in which case I would never have been finished in time. But it's actually 14th of September, I think it is. And you have to be 75% finished to be sort of eligible for the prizes, which they said was to finish the body and have one sleeve finished. Now, I should have one sleeve finished by then because that's how far I am on my sleeve. I'm going to do 3/4 length sleeves for the moment. I finished the body, which I had done last time, but I feel it's too short for me. And I know I said a whole lot about 3/4 length sleeves last time, that when you're tall and you wear 3/4 length sleeves, you look like your clothes shrunk in the wash. But I think 3/4 length sleeves and a body that's, or long sleeves and a body that's too short is probably even worse. So I'm going to knit both sleeves until 3/4. And then I'm going to go back and lengthen the body until it's a length I'm more comfortable with. I think it needs a good couple of centimeters. Put the button band back on, and then whatever yarn I've got extra, I can obviously lengthen the sleeves with that. But I'm definitely going to, do the sleeves 3/4, like the pattern says, and then try and use whatever extra. I'm not going to do the ribs. I'm just going to do the sleeves to length before the rib on both sides. Rip out the bottom, add whatever extra yarn I can add on there. And when I'm happy with that length, if there is any more, obviously leaving enough to do the ribbing on the sleeves. If there is any more, then just go back and lengthen the sleeves a little bit then. So yeah, not much more progress on that, just a sleeve. But what was quite interesting is I had shown my buttons that I was going to use, and apparently people really liked them. So I think I might actually, I thought they were a bit too much of a contrast, but people seem to think that they're quite nice, the incomparable buttons that I'm using. And Jo from Shiny Bees was sort of saying how much she loves the incomparable buttons. And then there was another knitter, I don't know how to say her username, it's SWF, Suf, I don't know. Anyway, and she said she also had some ceramic buttons that she'd got from somewhere in South Africa, or from a South African supplier, but that she only had 6 and that she possibly wanted 8 or more buttons. So I said to both Jo and her, I said to them, look, if you can tell me which ones you want, I'll try and see if I can organize them for you and post them from South Africa. Because posting out of South Africa, well, posting out of Cape Town in South Africa is fairly easy. I often have post arriving overseas before it arrives up north in South Africa. You know, the post out of Cape Town seems to be sort of fairly reliable. And I said I'd pop them in the post. So she went and had a look, and she told me the number. And I looked it up on the catalogue in the Incomparable Buttons website. And guess what? It's one of the ones that I've got, that they sent me for using for podcast giveaways and for general prizes and stuff. So how cool is that? I've actually got the buttons that she needs. So I said to her, send me your address and I will send her the buttons. I think that's so cool that I have these buttons and I can pass them on to her. So I'm really delighted that we can kind of share the South African button love around the world a bit more. So yes, that was the Lush, and I'm going to be able to share some buttons, and somebody else will have a Lush cardigan with South African buttons. That's quite cool. What else? The berry hat that I was working on, I'm still working on. I finished the it's in here somewhere. Here we go. I'm tangled up with needles in here. I finished the I don't really know what part to call it, part 1 I guess, because this is kind of the triangle that kind of grows like this. So let's just try and hold that so that you can actually see it. And then you come back, so this one you obviously knit this way like this, and then you come back and pick up all these stitches along here, and now I'm doing short rows along this section, which is now section 2. And this is the this, like the Lush cardigan, both I'm actually knitting out of Nurturing Fibres Super Twist double knit, and this is the Red Lantern and Plum Pudding colorway, and that one's the Tangerine colorway, the Lush. So this is my berry hat that I'm still, this is by lethal knits. And then Caleb socks, still same one done, and I can't remember how far I was last time. I'm not sure if I put the heel in. No, I couldn't have, because I put the heel in at the wedding. That's what I sat and did while we were chatting at the reception. I put the heel in Caleb's sock. So I put the heel in and I'm down the foot and it's just the toe left. So it's really not that much left to do. And this is using Claire Devine's Tarsi Grande pattern. And this yarn's a little bit thinner and I'm using a smaller needle, so it's actually coming out the right size for Caleb. So that's Caleb socks. All of this I've shown you before. And then the thing that's new on my needles is I'm making a dinosaur. Caleb is going to a party tomorrow. A friend of his often sees me knitting when I used to sit at swimming, and he's always said would I knit him a dinosaur. And I asked him what colours he wanted, and he said red and green. So we've landed up with a rather festive, Christmassy looking dinosaur. But anyway, it's a Jean Greenhoe pattern. Greenhoe pattern. The little dinosaurs, and this one's kind of got a long, and then it gets the 4 legs on here. So I need to finish this dinosaur by tomorrow. Which shouldn't be too hard. I've just got the 4 little legs to go. So that's what I'm working on. And this was just out of, I don't know, some random yarn I had in my stash, some sort of DK. And that's, it's just got the first leg. So it'll be the little foot there. So that's the other thing that I've got on needles at the moment. So I need to finish that by tomorrow, and then it's back onto the Lush cardigan to get it done by the deadline. Yeah, so that should, those are my works in progress at the moment. Finished objects. All that I've got finished this time is that Rachel and I finished our little yellow ducks for the little yellow duck project, and we had to get them out by last week Sunday, the 31st was the end of the South African little yellow duck challenge. Like I said on a previous podcast before, I think it must have been about July sometime, somebody from the little yellow duck project popped into the South African group and said they have a map, and when people find ducks they put it up on the map, and there were no little yellow ducks in South Africa. So they sort of asked if, you know, we would make some ducks, and being South Africans we took it a step forward, and Sally in Joburg challenged Carla in Cape Town to divide the country into 2 teams, a north and a south team, and to sort of challenge who could put the most ducks out there. And the team in the north, Sally's team, Wool Diaries team, won the challenge, and the total was, I'm gonna have to go and double check, I'll just put it in the notes in the bottom, in the 200 ducks. So basically they told us about it in July, and we started the 1st of August. It was how many ducks could we get out in August. Over 200 and something, 80 something maybe, ducks were knitted and put out in South Africa in August, which is phenomenal. So Rachel and I did ducks, and we kind of skimmed ours in there at the last minute. On the 31st we put our ducks out. We put one in the, Rachel and Emma went round and they put one in the bookshop, and they put one in the pet store, and we told both the shops about them and said please to encourage somebody with children or just somebody to take them as they went along. The last time I checked, our ducks weren't registered on the map yet, but not all the ducks get registered. It's not really it's great if they do, but it's really about the random act of kindness of leaving a duck for somebody to find, you know, something special for them, and then encouraging them in return to register to be an organ and a blood donor, which is of course very close to both Emma and my heart. His sister had a lot of blood when she was ill before she died, and his brother, when he was in a motorbike accident and severely broke his leg, also had quite a few units of blood at that point. And when he goes in for surgery now later this month, again, they'll probably be using blood. So it's something that's dear to both Emma and I, and we are both regular blood donors. So it was a project that we were very happy to be involved with. And of course, it carries on. You know, it doesn't stop just because August is finished. So yeah, we got our ducks out, and I'll probably do some more ducks and put them around and stuff. It's quite fun, actually. So that was my only finished object, actually, for this week, because I've got these other long projects that I keep going on. But I have a very exciting project planned. I thought I'd have it on needles, but then I needed to start the dinosaur, so I haven't yet. I have bought the yarn, though. This is, I'm actually really excited to be knitting the yarn in the same yarn as the pattern, because being in South Africa with a lot of overseas designers, we very seldom are able to get the same yarn as what's, you know, in the pattern. And this time I am able to knit in the same yarn because I know the designer, and she so kindly sent me some yarn for my birthday. I think actually before she had designed these, when I showed in one of the very first episodes, I showed the stuff that I'd got for my birthday. You'll remember that Claire sent me from Ginger Twist Studios, she had got some of Jess's hand dyed, it's called Sturdy Splendor DK, which is 100 grams, 250 meters, 75% organic merino and 25% silk, and the colorway is called Nerd Herd. So being that I'm married to the geek, and that, you know, we like sort of geeky stuff, Claire thought that colorway was so appropriate. And this is the exact same yarn that Claire has used to design the mittens that are part of her head to toe collection. Now you'll recall that I spoke about Claire and Jess's collaboration. They did a head to toe collection, which is an ebook. You can also buy standalone patterns, and you can buy an actual printed book as well. So it started with a head, and it had a hat, and then it went to a shawl, the shoulders. That was the next month, and then the 1st of September was the release of the fingerless mittens. And ever since I saw Claire design them, because we chat quite often, I had seen the mittens before they were released, and I was totally in love with them. They are beautiful. So I'm going to try and show you a picture, but it doesn't work showing you on here. Then I will I'll put some pictures in. They're reverse stocking stitch, and they are just kind of slightly longer mittens, and they've got this cable that goes up the thumb. If you can see there on the bottom one, the cable sort of goes up and round the thumb. I love them. They're just, oh, I just think they are so awesome. So I've loved the mitts ever since I've seen them, and I've been dying for the release of that pattern in the collection, because every month a new pattern gets released in the collection. And so I am now, they were released the 1st of September, and I am dying to cast them on. So it's very exciting. I get to use Jess's yarn and Claire's pattern. It was part of this whole collaboration. It's called Head to Toe. You can find the patterns on Claire's, there's links to all the different patterns in the Head to Toe collection on Claire's Yarn and Pointy Sticks group and her blog, Yarn and Pointy Sticks. And the mittens are the Edina, E-D-I-N-A mittens, and I love them, and I can't wait to cast them on. So that's my next exciting project. So hopefully by next week I'm going to have a few finished objects for you, and then I can show you my progress on my mittens. So yeah, not so much finished this time. Okay. Hello, I have another special guest to introduce to you. Caleb was wanting to be on the podcast. I haven't had him on the podcast before, so say hello.
Hello.
And what happened to you this week?
I finished my gatehouse, and I also started my knitting some time ago.
Okay, and tell me about, did something happen with the tooth mouse?
I also got money from the tooth mouse.
Why did you get money from the tooth mouse?
Because I lost 2 of my teeth.
Which ones? Give them a big smile. Look up and smile. Caleb lost his 2 front teeth on the same evening. So he's got no front teeth at the moment. And he could sing All I Want for Christmas is My Two Front Teeth. Lovely, my boy. And on last weekend, he fell on a jungle gym and bashed his face. So he's got a big bruise. I don't know if you can see, turn your face like this. He's got a big bruise on the side of his face and no front teeth. It looks like he's been in a fight with somebody. But anyway, Caleb wants to be on the podcast and to show you the things that he has been knitting. What's the first thing you ever knitted, my boy?
My dog.
Okay, show them your dog. And how did you make your dog, my boy?
With green and some felt.
Okay, so did you knit one long piece and then you folded it over?
Yes.
And then we put some different felt
Yeah.
bits on it, hey?
And then we made the felt eyes and the button nose.
And the button nose, yes. And his little feet.
Yes.
So that was the first thing you ever knitted. Do you like knitting?
Yes, and the second thing I ever knitted was this.
And what is this, my boy?
It's my middle warmer.
And so what do you do with this?
I wrap it around my nose
You wrap it around your middle.
because it
Sorry.
was too big for a cow.
That's right, it was going to be a cowl, wasn't it? And then you decided to make it a middle warmer. So
Okay,
Caleb made a
yes.
middle warmer.
And this.
And what was the next thing?
And the third thing I knitted was that hat.
Was a hat. Caleb is my child with the most knitted finished objects. Rachel casts on a lot or starts a lot of things, but she has a bit of startitis and doesn't always. And I think she actually prefers crocheting. I think the speed of crocheting keeps Rachel's attention a bit more than knitting. So this is Caleb's hat. Is it too hot for a hat today?
Yes.
There's your hat. And then what else have you knitted? Did you knit the hat before this cowl, or did you knit the...
I knitted the hat before the cowl.
Okay, and hold on, now we're just going to get this going the right
And
way
the
around.
fourth thing I knitted was my... Yeah.
Oh, your cowl needs a wash, my boy. It's actually rather grubby. Hold on, let's take the hat off first. You got this yarn for your birthday, didn't you?
Yes.
Carla gave it to you for your birthday.
And
Sit
this
up so
was
they
my-
can see.
And this was my fourth thing I knitted.
And your little buttons.
Yes. That came from my button jar I got for my birthday.
Yes. And so that's the fourth thing that you knitted. Okay, you can take it off. It actually needs a wash. Hopefully they can't see so far away that it's actually covered in, I don't know, chocolate milk or something. And what are you knitting now?
This hat.
Can I show them?
Hat in some greenish blue yarn.
Like a teal colour, hey? So this is the...
Can
I helped him with the rib on the bottom, and he's now busy
Zoom-
knitting this
Zooming
part.
ahead faster than I thought I would.
You are zooming ahead, aren't you? You're knitting very, very nicely. And where did you get this yarn from? What yarn is this, my boy?
From my birthday after I got the green yarn.
Yes, this one you got last year's birthday
Yes.
from Carla, and this one you got this year's birthday.
Yes.
But you didn't just get one. How many did you get?
3.
You got 3 different yarns for your birthday, didn't you?
One greenish,
Like a light green, hey?
like very light green.
And this one, and what was the other colour?
Red.
Red. And what are you going to make with the other ones? This one you're going to make into a hat. What are you making with your other ones?
Probably a pair of fingerless mittens.
Some fingerless mittens. Okay.
Mittens for all my green stuff.
Okay.
If I'm already finished.
Okay. And what do you like knitting the most? What's your favourite thing to knit?
Probably hats, and that's because it's the most I've ever knitted.
Okay, alright.
It's the most of my knitted objects or hats.
Okay. And what else is your favourite thing in the whole wide world?
Well, it's computer games which I like playing.
Okay. And what's your favourite computer game at the moment?
Probably Minecraft because it's like normal life except when you start you start with nothing and when you move on you get more stuff.
Okay. And you have to build things in Minecraft.
Yes.
Is mommy any good at Minecraft?
No. That's because you don't like computer games except some ways to die.
Oh, the one Types plays on my phone.
Yeah, you like playing that one.
Alright, is there anything else you want to say to everybody?
And I also like playing Lego.
Lego, you do like Lego a lot, don't you?
Yes.
And where are you going next month?
To England.
Who are you going with?
Granny.
No, not Granny.
No, not Granny, Grandpa.
With Grandpa, yeah. So that'll be fun. You're going to go see some castles.
Yes.
You love castles, don't you?
Legoland.
And Legoland. That will be fun. Are you going to finish your hat by then? Because you'll need a warm hat. It's going to be summer here, but it's going to start being winter there. You'll need a warm hat.
But I'm going in summer.
No, it'll be South African summer, but it's going to be English autumn and winter. You'll need a warm hat. So you're going to try and finish your hat by then?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Say bye-bye to everybody.
Bye.
The sock knit-along is still going on the Pink Hair Girl group. So if you haven't joined the Pink Hair Girl group, please go and do so. To be eligible for any of the prizes that are on the podcast, you need to be a member of the Pink Hair Girl group. And so we've had a sock knit-along, which was the first podcast knit-along, and I'm really pleased. It's gone really well, I think. Seeing as it was the first knit-along, people have been putting their socks in there, and that's been great. It ends on Rachel's birthday, which is the 17th of September. So get your final socks in there as for the sort of final part of being eligible for the prizes. The prizes, as I've mentioned before, is a Frolicking Feet sock yarn from Jess Maybe has donated that. It's in America, in case someone in America wins the prize, then she can just send it straight from there. And Carly from Nurturing Fibres has given us a custom dye of her what was known as man sock range. I'm not sure what it's going to be called. It's what I did my jacaranda socks in. Anyway, so it's going to be a custom dye, so you get to choose what it's going to look like, which is really fun. And then there are the incomparable buttons and another copy of Claire Devine's Sock Anatomy, which is the baby socks, and she's been adding the adult sizes now too. Oh, there's a bird that's just flown into the house. Hold on, I need to go sort out the bird. So go and get your finished socks into the finished objects thread, and I will close that on the 17th, and the draw will happen in the next podcast after that. So get your finished objects in there, and it's been great. Thank you very, very much to everyone that's entered their objects into the knit-along. I think for the first ever Pink Hair Girl podcast knit-along, I think we've done very well. So thanks to everybody that's put projects up. I've really enjoyed seeing the socks. I've been very motivated by all of your wonderful socks, and we've got a list of new sock patterns I want to knit now. So thanks for that. And we will, I will see you again next time. It's been really great to share this time with you, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode with me. Thanks. Bye.
Hi, Sally James asked me to do a little segment about Afrikaans word of the day. While she was having a chat with all the other knitters on a virtual knit night, it's a fortnightly Google Plus Hangout thing they do. They had a lot of fun trying to come up with words to talk about, and the one that was selected was bliksem. Should not probably have been my first choice to share with the world. Bliksem from the original meaning means lightning, weerlig. But it's changed, it's fallen to disuse, it's now more used like a swear word, almost a harsh word. For example, I would say, hy is 'n bliksem, meaning he is a bastard. Or I could use it as a verb, meaning to, ek gaan jou bliksem. I will beat you up. And then finally, it can be an interjection, bliksem, meaning damn it. And there's your Afrikaans word for the day. Any suggestions? Just leave a comment for Sally. Thanks.